All right, you guys have seen me do this already, but I got lots to talk about. I haven't done an update in a while. Just letting the air out. So let's get the S2000 clean. I'm pretty sure we have some water spot issues. Oh, come on. And we have some more potential problems to work through here today. So I figured this would be a good time to have a chat since I'm washing the S2000. Gonna update everybody what's going on. The issues I'm having are the car has water spots. We'll see if they come off without lots of effort. You know, basically what happened is I was at Brian Orr's shop. We were recording the podcast. I come out at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and sprinklers are spraying water all over the car. It's almost as if he planned it. At like 3 in the afternoon, but it's sunny. And so that was last Wednesday. And now it's, you know, not quite a week later, but I didn't have time to wash it because I was leaving that same night for Memphis. I grabbed some iron, or not even iron, but mineral deposit remover when I was at Optimum in Memphis, so it should work out. So anyway, you guys, you know, I'm sure if you haven't seen it, I went out to Jay Leno's. So that was 2 weeks ago. And then this past week, I was fortunate to go out to Memphis. Was invited to visit Optimum polishes, Optimum OptiCoat, you know, whatever you want to call it. But I visited those guys for a training, so I was able to spend a couple of days with Optimum. I got to meet Dr. G, spent like an hour with him. Dan couldn't make it from Optimum, who, you know, the host of the Optimum podcast. He had a trade show to be at, but Ivan was there and trained us up. You know, and I was excited to go because I've never really used Optimum stuff. And, you know, there are many detailers, professional detailers that are huge fans of their products. But, you know, they kind of have an older stigma to it. You know, the products feel, you know, they haven't done a lot of changes to the marketing or the way that the products are presented. And so for just a general weekend detailer, oh, good news. I found our new lambskin pads, I think. My hand isn't black. I was worried these were going to be the same pad as the one from Lake Country, but I'm almost certain it's not because my hand would be black by now. You know, Ivan owns a massive shop, several franchise locations, and so the philosophy is going to be different than the guy who owns a single, you know, boutique operation, you know, like an Esoteric. It's just a much different production, much different output. Decades that he's been doing this, he's had to build in efficiencies in order to, you know, get things done and get things done quickly and efficiently, which is very different than what most of us, you know, weekend detailers are doing. Or, you know, again, even if you own a shop where you're doing just high-end paint corrections, you're gonna have a very different mindset than someone, you know, catering more to volume than, you know, making cars look decent, because as you guys know, most people don't know what corrected paint even looks like. They wouldn't even know what to ask for. And so despite that, you know, there's still high-end tendencies, you know, there's an underlying efficiency to the Optimum system. It's very, very different than, you know, what I've learned or what I've been taught. You know, I don't know that I 100% agree with all of it, but I certainly learned a ton from going to it. And then, you know, for me, I like using different products. And so just trying the products are what gets me excited. And so I was playing, learning, getting to know as much as I could about the Optimum products. And so I ordered a crap ton of them. And so that was super cool, really fun. Learned a lot, picked up a lot of cool tips, worked on some wet sanding, blew through the clear coat on one of the test hoods just to kind of see, you know, what the limits were of sanding. Was able to test out and work on some coating stuff. And you know, the thing that intrigues me about Optimum over some of the other options, you know, Optimum is not a it's not a silicon dioxide based coating like all the others are. So, you know, whether you want to call it ceramic or glass or whatever you want to call it, the Optimum, you know, the chemical makeup is proprietary, it's different. You know, Dr. G is a chemist who's mixing it up in his lab. No one's allowed in the lab. I don't even get to see where the lab was. You know, he's a very particular guy. Reminds me a lot of myself. So I'm gonna have a lot of products coming that we'll be playing with in the garage, probably some on video and some just whenever I can. So I'm gonna be messing with that stuff. Should be fun. And I even toyed with, which never really crossed my mind, about private labeling. So creating an Obsessed Garage detailing line, which I know many, many people have emailed me and said I should. And I've been, you know, I'm like, you know, I just really haven't had an interest in it. And the reason because of that is, you know, when I thought of private labeling, I thought I would have to actually create the product, you know, from scratch. So I'd have to go to a chemist or mix up my own crap, which obviously isn't going to happen. And I'm, you know, my thought process is there's no way that I'm going to produce something that's even close to as good as what's already available. But Optimum opened my eyes to the fact that, well, you know, most of these companies, Optimum included, would private label their own products for me. And so, man, I started to think about that. I said, you know, maybe I could I could get rid of some of the deficiencies of having crappy bottles, you know, make it look cooler, maybe even tweak some of the formulas to suit, you know, what we are looking for as a group, you know, and I'm looking for personally, because, you know, most of the time what I'm looking for, a lot of people share the same opinion. And so that really got my wheels turning. So I'm starting to think about it. You know, what if I had, you know, Obsessed Garage in partnership with NextZet or Onesie Einzet or Jescar? I'd be willing to bet, you know, a lot of these companies would be willing to, you know, Optimum included, would be willing to, you know, create or allow me to purchase in bulk and rebottle the stuff. So we had proper bottles, proper branding, but I'm not selling out and just selling some crappy repackaged stuff. You know, I'm actually, and I would actually put it on, I was thinking about this, I'd put it on the bottle, you know, in partnership with Optimum, you know, Obsessed Garage detail spray, you know, developed and bottled by, you know, Optimum Polymer Technologies or whatever whatever you want to call it. I don't think anybody's ever done that. Everybody always tries to hide where their stuff is made. You know, I would rather just do it, put my name on it, bottle it, brand it, package it the way that I would want it packaged, but then go to manufacturers and have my, you know, label on it, or have their product in my labeled bottle. I think that could be really cool. So anyway, I'm thinking about it. But then I think one of the greatest parts of the private labeling is to get rid of all those goofy, you know, retailers that give everything away. instead of actually doing, you know, providing some kind of value. You know, I know some people are just out looking for the best price. Me, I'm not one of those people. I'm looking for the best, you know, resource. I don't even care about service as much, as long as service isn't an issue. And I'll be talking about that a little bit here in a minute. But as long as it isn't like a big issue of me trying to order the product, I'd rather, you know, provide me the content so that I can then make an educated decision. You know, and hopefully you vetted the product and you're not just selling every product on the planet, but you're actually selling what you use or what you believe in. But it's not just one product, you know, it's not one company's product just because it's easier that way. And so I'm going to chase that. And again, I probably shouldn't tell you guys this is the secret sauce here of what I'm dreaming up, but shoot, if somebody tried to replicate it, I'd say have at it, trip out, give it a shot, give it your best shot, because there's room for all of us. So that's the main thing that I came out of the Optimum training. You know, their polishing system is very different. You'll see that if you haven't watched the video. I don't know which video I'll get up first, whether it's this one or that one. But go check out the Optimum training video, the video of my visit to Memphis where they're located. So you can check out some of their ideas, their philosophies, you know, on how to polish and how to, you know, how to use a coating and what a coating's all about. I like the idea of, if I'm going to coat something, the permanence of it, you know, the fact that, you know, that like OptiGloss coat, it, you know, actually cross hatches, or no, what is it called? You know, it bonds with the paint rather than just lays on top of the paint. You know, it's just it's a very different philosophy. I actually liked the consumer version better than the pro version, which is good because I can't get the pro version. I'm sure they'd let me have it for my cars, but what good would that do if I'm providing these consultative solutions to everybody? It doesn't do me any good to use something different on my car than what I'm recommending. And so the good news is I actually like the consumer-based product. Yeah, this is great, people. I'm sure once you get over, there's a few little wool hairs, but once we get over that, these pads are going to be great. So I'm going to order a few thousand of them. They're really expensive for you to order yourself from FlexiPads in the UK, but I'm going to, you know, buy them wholesale and then sell them. I don't know what they're going to cost. I'll have to figure out, you know, what's all the shipping, the import duties, all of that stuff. What does it end up being? What does the overall cost end up being? So anyway, the idea of an Obsessed Garage branded package form, meaning that if you want to do the wheels the way I just did the wheels, with the bucket and the pieces and all the parts and everything that goes with it, the tire cleaner, everything, the brushes, I'm going to pre-package it. I'm going to sell that as a package, and then we'll put it together and ship it to you. The only difference of what I'm thinking now is, you know, rather than using Adams products or Shine Supply, I'm still going to use the products that I like, but I'm going to package it in my package with my sprayer and my bottle and my brand on it, you know, in partnership with the companies. So you know what that means. It's time to go out and test some more products. To make sure that what I'm using is exactly what I want. And this is what I tend to do over and over and over and over and over again. That's what I did with the buckets. So the buckets, the system is finalized. They just shipped to me today, GritGuard. So what I wanted to do was create, because I'm going to drop ship these buckets from GritGuard. They're my buckets, the specific proprietary bucket that I've found that I like from a company called Letica. My InShane Designs did the vinyl for me, which is a super high quality laminated vinyl decal that is, you know, if you put it on incorrectly, you could pull it off and reinstall it. So it's the same stuff you would use to wrap a car. Really high-end stuff, high quality stuff. Gamma seals, the whole nine, the whole package of 3 buckets with all the different parts and pieces you need, the wheels, 3-inch wheels and everything. So they're sending me, I wanted them to create, you know, box it and ship it like what it would ship if it were going to ship to you, and then I'm going to video that unboxing, and then from there I'm going to roll out the package, and so that's going to be a little longer than I thought. It took them a little longer than we thought. We had to get a special box made. I'm going to have to order more vinyl. You know, there's going to be a whole process in order to get that launch, so bear with me. It's going to be expensive. I know some people have gotten angry about it, and I'll break down what the costs are and everything. You know, and people comparison can't figure out how could my package cost twice as much as a package from Auto Geek that's $150. Well, first of all, it's 3 buckets. It's not 2. So there's a good bit of difference, but the buckets are better, the wheels are better, the system, the way that's set up, the decals are better, everything about it is better, and so and that all adds up. So anyway, I'll be sharing that with you. So buckets should be very, very soon, and I'm getting closer to wash and wheel packages first. And then I think once I get rolling on wash and wheel, then I can just start cranking. I can crank through decontamination, polishing. I had a conversation with Rupes about being a dealer, and they denied me again for a second time. So I don't agree with their philosophies on what they're doing, but whatever. Maybe I'm going to buy it third or second hand or second party, and my margins will be terrible. But at least I'll be able to support the places that I buy it from, and then resell it. And then when we all buy it and buy lots of it, then hopefully I'll be able to go back to them and say, look, guys, I mean, I'm doing something different here. I have no intention of running sales and do all kinds of weird retail games. It's going to be very simple. Here's the package. Here's all the parts and pieces. I've vetted it. I've tested it. I've been to, now this was my 3rd weekend multi-day training. Even after all the training I've done on my own and all the trial and error and testing of all the products, I spent another weekend at learning from people that are the best in the business. I'd like to go and do some more wet sanding stuff so that I can become an actual, novice, a professional consumer. I like to call myself a prosumer on wet sanding. So I might call Kevin Brown and see if maybe I can convince him that I could fly out to California and learn that process, learn his process of residue control and wet sanding. So anyway, that's what's going on with the package stuff. And so private labeling is not out of the question. So guess what that means? I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board and figure out a bottle and a sprayer, and I might even try to go and talk with like Tolco or some of these companies that manufacture them and see if I can explain to them what I want it to look and feel like, and see if maybe we can make my own version of a sprayer and really create something special. And so that's one of the big things I'm going to be working on. All right, so wheels are done. Let's hope we can get these water spots off without having to do anything crazy. Again, it really didn't matter if I left them on because it's been in the shade, in the bubble. It really didn't matter if I got them off when I got home because I was away for several hours and the car was baking in the sun as I'm driving home, and in general, just when I parked at the gym, it was just sitting there, just baking. So I couldn't get home and get it clean. So whether I washed it right now or I washed it that second that I got home, it really wouldn't matter. If they're on there, they're on there. So hopefully I can get these spots off. Anyway, and we'll keep chatting through this. I'm going to clean out this bucket. We'll keep moving. All right, so let's roll some lino soap. See how this does. Fill the foam can in. This is why if you're into foaming and you don't have a gallon, it really doesn't work very well. The other thing I looked into is being able to offer these. So I found the company that makes them, Brasscraft. And so I think I'm going to start offering. What I'll probably do is offer like a 24-inch, like which this is a 24-inch. And then maybe do, I don't know, maybe offer a couple of different sizes. But so don't get too excited. That's not happening anytime soon. I submitted my application a week ago to become a dealer, and I haven't heard anything. The thing I'm excited about is the 10 by 10 microfiber madness pad. Yeah, I think I've abandoned the Adams synthetic wool. I don't know, I just feel like I've moved on. I had a dirty sprayer in here I just wanted to clean out while I was here. We'll fill that up in a minute. So let's spray off the car and we'll foam it. So I'm getting very, very close. Seems like every time I get close to actually having all the, you know, the pressure washer guns and wands and swivels and all that stuff in stock, and I run out of something else. So the trickier parts have been getting the Ely inlet hose reels, and then the 1/4-inch quick disconnects ran out. We ran out of stock in the world. So if I didn't have water spots, I just washed this thing. I probably would have just done a quick rinseless wash, you know, like O&R or waterless wash or something. I would have done that, but since we got water spots, let's get this thing cleaned off. I'm gonna wait to mess with the paint. It's not really beading very well, is it? I was hoping to wait to mess with the paint after I got some of these projects done. So let's transition a bit here and stop talking about me selling crap and more about this car and modifications to it. Ah, shoot. I didn't mix up the soap well enough. I sucked out all the good stuff early. So if you're ever foaming and you find that it gets kind of soupy like this, it's because you didn't shake it up well enough. You have to get the soap mixed up. So now I'm getting more, so I was getting shaving cream over there, and now I'm just getting this kind of soupy looking foam. Yeah, shampoo seems to be pretty good. It feels very much like, looks very much like the original Adams. I mean, they say it's not, but whatever. I don't really care. In fact, I hope it is from Adams, because the original Adams shampoo is freaking awesome. I'll just dump this in here. Shoot, I only need like half a bottle for the S2000 size. Again, earlier in the video I was complaining about companies not, customer service and companies not being responsive. And so I really had my heart set on doing Toda header, Toda test pipe, well, Toda header, Toda exhaust. I didn't know Toda had a test pipe. And so I made a post on S2KI. If you go look up my S2000 journal, I made a post about the process of getting the Toda exhaust. And so I called King Motorsports. I wanted I thought there was only two options. There was the dolphin tip and the straight tip. And so I called King because they're the only dealer I know of. And so then they said, well, we don't have any of this crap. The best thing to do is just call the U.S. importer, whomever that is, and see if you can get one ordered. I was like, okay, I'll do that. And so I tried calling him, no one answered, and then I sent an email, and nothing happened. No response. And then maybe like 3 weeks or 2 weeks later, I got a response. What are you looking for? And then I told them, and then it was another week to get the response back to that after telling them what I was looking for. So then I told them what I thought I wanted. And while I was waiting for a response back, then I started doing more research, and I realized that, hey, Toda has a test pipe, and certainly I can just get a Burke test pipe for $100, and this one's $270 or whatever. But you know, I would like to have the full Tota, you know, full solution. I plan on having this thing a long time, so the extra couple of $100 or $100 or whatever it ends up being, I don't think is really all that big of a deal. Again, maybe I'm jaded because I'm like a 40-year-old man with, you know, reasonable means, but I just want it, you know, don't hold it against me, please. I just want it. I think it's freaking awesome. And also, you know, like the header, I was gonna do some other header, like a Skunk 2 header or something for $600 to $700 less, but I just want a Tota header, man. I don't know how to explain it. It's just, I think it's freaking awesome. I doubt I'll make any more. I'll probably make less horsepower with it, but I just think it'd be super cool. And so while I'm figuring that out, I come to realize, well, shoot, there's a. Hope those water spots came out. Doesn't feel like they have. Shoot. So while I'm figuring that out, I've come to realize there's a 70 millimeter version of the exhaust. I'm like, well, shoot, you know, now it's torn because I don't want it to be all droney and obnoxious. But you know, if I'm going to do a supercharger, the car would certainly benefit from having the, you know, the wider exhaust, the extra flow. And so while I'm waiting on that, then I start searching Nengen about, man, maybe they have it, they don't have it. So then I'm trying to get Tota to respond, and they respond weeks later, you know, a week at a time or 6 days at a time between responses. And so, you know, I'm super impatient. When I realize I want something, I just want to get it. And so I decided, man, maybe a 70 millimeter would be cool. And then after that, you know, Nengen asked me, hey, do you want version 2 or version 1? I'm like, shoot, I didn't even know there was a version 2. And so I ended up getting there's a resonated version. So there's a small resonator that connects to the exhaust. You know, it connects to the mid pipe or the Y pipe or whatever they call it. So even though it's resonated, it doesn't affect the flow at all, or so they say. So I'm going to try that. And so I ordered the test pipe. I ordered the 70 millimeter version 2 of the exhaust, and I ordered the header. So that'll be in transit here. I'm sure they'll have to make it in, you know, a few weeks or something like that. And so what I'm hoping to work on here today, I got new headlights, I got a new shift knob, the clear side markers, I got new floor mats. What else did I get for this thing? Yeah, I got some maintenance items, so I'm going to change the manual transmission fluid. I'm not going to do that today, but got some of that stuff that I needed. And I got Olin suspension sitting in there. Let's deionize this sucker. Let's see where we're at with our water spots. Yeah, this Leno soap is way good. Really good. I like it. Yeah, we're still beating okay. And then all that water, the hard water is sitting on the paint. It's killing any of my beating ability. You gotta get the GT350 exhaust out of here. All right, so I still got a bunch of mineral deposits on the paint. So I got some mineral deposit remover from Optimum. So let's put a little on our towel, kind of wipe it in. Because one of the things to keep in mind and I rarely ever end up with water spots. But one of the things to keep in mind with water spots is that you can't really polish them out. I mean, I guess sometimes you can if they're really superficial, but if they've done any kind of damage or etched the clear coat, you know, what will happen with the water spot is it'll etch and then it'll flash, so you'll take and you'll see it disappear from the heat, and then you'll wax it or seal it or coat it, and then the thing will show up again, which is like a nightmare, you know, my nightmare. And so you need to chemically remove the water spot, and I stole that from Ivan. I always kind of knew that, but he explained the science behind it. So I don't want to let that dry on there. So let that sit a minute or so. Keep some water. So this will help ensure I eat through any of those water spots in the clear coat. Really don't want to do this. I didn't want to do this, but it's kind of a necessary step because I got hard water all over the car. And then remove it, and I probably shouldn't put it all over the front clip like this, but I really don't have a choice. The spots are kind of everywhere. I think the front bumper, let's just put it on there to be safe. You know, I'm not using a ton of product. I mean, so what I'm going to do here real quickly is do this MDR treatment. I don't care about the headlights because I'm about to remove those. I only have to do the front end here because the rest of the car didn't get hit. I might do the doors too because it hit the doors a little bit. MDR, you're not really supposed to put it over these large sections like I am, but again, I can't pinpoint the spots. So I'm just going to put it all over. I don't think this stuff is supposed to, I don't think it strips wax, but I'm sure it's not helpful for it. I'm at it, I might as well just clay the whole stinking car. Should probably wear gloves with this too, but I wasn't thinking ahead. So that was the extent of removing the water spots. Yeah, it already feels very different. We got a 3:30 call with a new client. Chris is signing up with me today. Gosh, I love my life. I'm sorry. I sound like such a jerk, but sitting here doing a quick cleanup on my car, talking to you, and then I'm going to have a conversation and help somebody change somebody's life. By getting them organized and invested properly. It's so cool. So this is just a nano skin fine. It really won't mar the paint all that much, even though this is soft Japanese paint. It's silver. So I'm not going to polish. I just wanted to get those water spots off, and then I'll just throw a quick coat of something on here. This wasn't part of the plan today. So the next thing I got to order, and we still have to deal with the seat, the scratch seats issue. But the next thing to order are all the worthless waste of money. I'm going to do a white line frame brace, Cusco subframe rail, Cusco strut tower brace. I really wanted the ASM with the X brace that goes up here, but I don't know if that fits with the supercharger, so I'll probably just get a Cusco, and then maybe someday if it fits, I'll upgrade that. This is just Adam's detail spray, by the way, which of course you don't need, but it can't hurt. What are the braces? I'm going to do T1R anti-bump stop kit, front and rear. We've got to do T1R half shaft spacers. The half shaft spacers space out the, the axle shaft so that it brings it back into alignment. Rinse this with deionized water. Again, I already have the Olin's VFB. I'm not going to mess with the intake because I'm going to do the Kraftwerk supercharger. I got to get my CE28 ends at some point. I have to repaint the hard top. I think I'm going to stay OEM. We'll see. Mugen is just so much money. I don't know how this happened that I ended up decontaminating the whole thing. Just felt a little rough from that hard water, so I probably don't even need to do the whole thing. So I'll debadge it. I'll put the clear side markers on here shortly. So my house is pretty much done. Check it out. The color of the pole barn has changed. So notice it's white. It's like an off-white and then a dark gray. And so we painted I painted the ceilings, or I didn't paint it, but I had the ceilings painted, redone. Looks so much better than red and yellow. And same thing, I don't know if you guys can see the house back there. I'll show it to you. I'll do a house tour at some point. The kitchen's done. The last thing is my, the big wall unit that I was going to tear out, the 80s wall unit, is now super modern and awesome. We painted it, refinished it, put new doors on it, put hardware on it. So there's just a couple more parts that we need to finish that. And the master bath is done. Again, the whole interior's been painted and adjusted. So like I said, I'll probably do a new tour. And our house is very much obsessed grade. It's not from me, but our good friend Laurel Gebbin, who has an interior design firm, she designed it, laid it out. It was a gosh darn nightmare doing it. I didn't do a general contractor, which I've mentioned in other videos. I would recommend that you do. Don't do things on your own. The cabinet guy and all the people are just like, yeah, we got this. We can all work together, and then nothing gets done. And then Michelle ends up doing everything, lining everything up. So our house is freaking awesome, man. I'm telling you. So, I didn't build the garage because we were going to do the house, but it was worth it. And so now the garage is on hiatus. Some people. Oh man, some guy's calling me out saying, you've been talking about doing all this, you're so full of crap. I'm like, it's part of the risk of doing things though, the way I do it, where I'm taking you through what I'm thinking about, what I'm dreaming about. And sometimes those dreams don't come true. Doesn't mean I'm lying to you or making up how much money I have. How can you not get that from me in 2 seconds that doesn't matter to me? That kind of ego crap. Come on, man. Cut me some slack. The garage facility. So notice how much cleaner the wash bay looks here now from how much stuff is in here. The trailer's out of here. All I have is the bubble. One car, the truck's parked over there. My GT3 is still at Clay's house next door, so I need to get that out of there and get it over to the wash bay. And then, like I said before, or maybe you haven't heard this, but what I'm going to do, I rented or leased a facility, a garage, 1,250 square foot garage, where I'm going to keep the cars. I suspect I'll spend a little bit of time over there messing around with stuff. But again, I'm going to cycle through the cars. I'm going to put them over there and then bring one back. We'll see how it goes. I know some people have said that they couldn't fathom not having their cars here, but we'll see if I can handle it or not. I'm not afraid to admit when I make a mistake. It's only a 1-year lease. All right, so we got the, used the MDR to get the water spots off. Again, they weren't bad, but I could still feel them. You know, the clay bar or the, the nanoskin may have actually taken it off. But now I'm sure it's off. At least I hope it's off. And we did a quick little decon. I'll dry it off after I'm done talking to Chris. And we'll throw some power lock and Colinite on it. And we'll deal with scratches and swirls. I don't think there are any. So we'll deal with that later on. After we get all your wheels, and so I'll do a full correction when I get the car all dialed in and when I get all the stuff on it. And I think I'm gonna do more of this where I'm not gonna sit around in my office all day. I'm gonna go in, kill it, get everything done, call everybody that needs to be called, and then just be on call if anybody needs me, and get all of my projects up to speed and enjoy every second of it. Here's another little trick. So this helps a lot with coilovers rusting, or not coilovers, rotors rusting over. This is Hyde's rust stopper. Spray a little on the rotors. I always do this just prior to drying. So now I'll blow the car off. So if I did happen to get a little bit on the wheel, it doesn't cause any issues. I've never had this. I've been using this for a long time on my steel rotored cars. I've never had an issue with it messing anything up. So again, that's Hyde's Serum Rust Stopper.